They sent me to the Alaskan mountains, to Denali specifically. A seemingly simple mission, routine patrol, wildlife monitoring, standard stuff. Lies. All of it lies. This wasn't a patrol, it was a death sentence. It was the worst decision of my life, and I'm here to tell you why. But I'm warning you now, you won't sleep soundly tonight. That my name is Kalen, and I'm Koyukon Athabaskan. I grew up in these mountains. I know their secrets, their beauty, and their lethal teeth. I know the stories whispered around crackling fires, the legends passed down through generations. I know that the silence can be more terrifying than any scream, that the wilderness can be more cruel than any human. Before this mission, my life was routine. Protecting the park, assisting tourists, a life deeply intertwined with the land. But this assignment felt different. The air itself hummed with an unnatural tension. My superiors were vague, their explanations riddled with inconsistencies and evasiveness. They mentioned increased wildlife activity, strange disturbances, but the feeling of unease ran far deeper than any routine incident. That MY patrol route took me further than usual, deeper into the untouched wilderness. The landscape itself was stunning. Towering peaks piercing a sky of impossible blue, glaciers carving their paths through ancient rock, the crisp air carrying the scent of pine and snow. But this beauty was deceptive, a thin veil over something far more sinister. The first sign was subtle. A carcass, not of a typical Alaskan animal. Something larger, something wrong. It was partially devoured, the remains suggesting a predator unlike anything I'd ever encountered. Not bear, not wolf, not anything I could identify. The wounds were unnatural, precise, as if inflicted by something intelligent, something with an unnerving level of control. That MY initial apprehension morphed into full-blown terror that night. The howl. It wasn't the familiar howl of a wolf. It was deeper, more guttural, filled with a chilling intelligence, resonating with ancient malice. It echoed through the mountains, shaking me to my core. It was a sound that spoke of ancient evils, of things best left undisturbed, of things that should not exist. It was a sound that promised death. The next morning brought confirmation. Footprints, massive, three-toed, unlike anything I'd ever seen before. They were incredibly deep in the snow and possessed a deliberate, purposeful stride. They led further into the mountains. This was no ordinary animal. This was something hunting us, something powerful, something ancient, something vengeful. Denali National Park is a vast, unforgiving wilderness. It's a place where the line between myth and reality blurs, where the whispers of ancient legends echo through the towering peaks. The Koyukon Athabaskan people, my people, have lived here for centuries, their stories filled with tales of powerful spirits and creatures that guard the land. Stories dismissed as folklore by outsiders. Yet they resonated with a truth I now understood. That MY team, if you could call it that, consisted of two other rangers, both from the lower 48. Mark, a seasoned ranger, was initially skeptical of my concerns, attributing the unusual occurrences to mere animal behavior. Sarah, a rookie, displayed a quiet determination that belied her inexperience, clinging to a pragmatic approach that felt increasingly out of sync with the reality of the situation. Their lack of understanding of the land and its inherent dangers exacerbated the growing sense of dread. The deeper we ventured into the park, the more I felt the weight of my heritage pressing upon me. The ancient stories, once dismissed as mere folklore, now took on a chilling new relevance. The whispers of the wind, the rustling of the trees, everything around us resonated with the potential for a dark, primal force. The land itself seemed to be groaning under the weight of some ancient, terrible secret. This wasn't just a park, it was a sacred place, and we were trespassing. That Mark's skepticism slowly began to erode as the strange occurrences escalated. The relentless tracking of an unknown predator, the unsettling feeling of being watched, the unsettling sounds echoing through the mountains, began chipping away at his rational outlook. Sarah, despite her fear, remained determined, her training kicking in. Yet, even her pragmatic approach couldn't fully explain the events unfolding before us. The cultural context is crucial. My understanding of the land, of the indigenous stories and beliefs, gave me an insight that my colleagues lacked. I could sense the shift in the energy of the land, the unsettling disruption of the natural order, a feeling that echoed the ancient warnings of my ancestors. This understanding became increasingly vital as our situation shifted from simple investigation to a desperate fight for survival. AS days turned into nights. The relentless pursuit intensified. We were no longer simply patrolling. We were being hunted, and we were being hunted with frightening intelligence and precision. The predator knew the land as well as I did, maybe even better. And that was the most terrifying aspect of it all. The attacks began subtly, a series of unsettling events designed to unsettle and disorient. Supplies went missing, equipment was sabotaged, and the feeling of being watched intensified. It was a psychological game, a slow, deliberate erosion of our confidence and morale before the physical attack started. The first direct confrontation was brutal and swift. We were ambushed, the creature emerging from the shadows with impossible speed and ferocity. Its form was still indistinct, a fleeting glimpse of something massive, powerful, and utterly alien. It attacked with brutal efficiency, targeting Mark first. His screams were cut short. We could only watch in horror as he disappeared into the darkness. Sarah, despite her training, was visibly shaken. Her calm facade shattered, leaving a raw fear that mirrored my own. She was a capable ranger, but she had never faced anything like this, something that existed outside the realm of her training and experience. She struggled to maintain her composure as we retreated, a desperate flight into the unforgiving wilderness. The landscape itself became an active participant in the conflict. The seemingly impenetrable forests became mazes of deadly traps. The icy rivers turned into treacherous obstacles, and the mountains themselves seemed to shift and groan under the weight of some unseen force. This was no mere wildlife encounter. This was a conscious, malicious pursuit that we were losing ground, and more than just territory. The relentless pressure, the constant fear of ambush, the gnawing realization that we were dealing with something beyond human comprehension began to take its toll. We were running out of supplies, our hope dwindling with each passing day. Survival was no longer simply a matter of skill or training. It became a test of resilience and the limits of human endurance. The weight of the unknown pressed down on us. The chilling intelligence of our pursuer was unmistakable. Our attempts at creating traps and using our knowledge of the terrain were anticipated and countered, our every move seemingly predicted. We were pawns in a deadly game of cat and mouse, and we were clearly losing. And with every passing moment, the feeling of being hunted deepened, fueled by the horrifying reality that the creature seemed to understand and exploit our fears. This was far more than a simple survival situation. This was a carefully orchestrated hunt, a relentless pursuit orchestrated by a superior intelligence. Our initial assumptions were shattered. We were no longer just dealing with an animal. We were facing something far older, far more intelligent, and far more terrifying. The scale of the conflict had drastically expanded. Our simple patrol had transformed into a fight for our very lives. Sarah's growing desperation became a subplot interwoven with our central conflict. Her initial pragmatic approach crumbled under the relentless pressure, replaced by a rising fear that bordered on hysteria. Her training, once her anchor, now felt inadequate, leaving her vulnerable to the psychological toll of the hunt. Her fear, however, inadvertently revealed something crucial, a latent connection to the land, a deep-seated intuition that echoed my own understanding of the ancient stories. That my knowledge of the Koyakan Athabascan legends became essential to our survival. The stories, once dismissed as mere folklore, now provided glimpses into the nature of our pursuer, hints at its motivations, and clues about its weaknesses. These weren't just tales, they were warnings. The legends spoke of a creature born from the land's fury, a vengeful spirit guarding ancient secrets, a being awakened by a disturbance in the natural order. This knowledge was both terrifying and empowering. The dwindling supplies forced a difficult choice: risk a dangerous trek across treacherous terrain to reach a potential supply cache, or remain in our current position and risk starvation and further attacks. Time became our most precious commodity. The pressure of our dwindling resources accelerated the pace of our desperate struggle. The worsening weather conditions added another layer of complexity. A blizzard descended upon the mountains, turning the landscape into a blinding, unforgiving expanse of snow and ice. The storm became a weapon, hindering our movements, isolating us further, and enhancing the feeling of being trapped. The blizzard added a sense of urgency and desperation to our already precarious situation, blurring the lines between the natural elements and the supernatural threat. Sarah's growing fear, initially a hindrance, paradoxically became an asset. Her heightened senses, fueled by terror, began to detect subtle clues that we'd previously overlooked. Faint scents, unusual sounds, barely perceptible shifts in the environment. Her fear, once debilitating, became a heightened intuition, a heightened awareness that aided our survival. That my own cultural understanding, coupled with Sarah's newfound intuition, began to converge, creating a synergistic effect. We began to interpret the warnings of the ancient stories in a new light, deciphering cryptic clues and recognizing patterns that suggested a way to appease the creature, to understand its motivations, and perhaps even to escape its relentless pursuit. The blizzard intensified, creating a whiteout that swallowed the landscape whole. Visibility dropped to near zero, turning the already treacherous terrain into a deadly labyrinth. We were lost, disoriented, and vulnerable. It was in this moment of desperation that the turning point arrived. Sarah, fueled by adrenaline and a desperate need for survival, stumbled upon a hidden cave, partially buried under the snow. It was an ancient structure, a place untouched by time, emanating a strange energy. Inside, we found ancient petroglyphs, carvings depicting the creature we were hunting. It wasn't a mindless beast. It was a guardian, a protector of the land. The carvings revealed the truth. The creature wasn't simply hunting us. It was responding to a disruption in the natural order, a disturbance caused by something far more sinister. We weren't the targets. We were pawns in a much larger game. The petroglyphs depicted a ritual, a way to appease the guardian, to restore the balance. That my knowledge of the Koyukon Athabascan legends provided the key to understanding the ritual. It wasn't a simple offering. It was a symbolic act of atonement, a way to repair the damage done to the land. Sarah, despite her initial skepticism, recognized the significance of the carvings, recognizing that the ritual was not simply a superstition, but a practical means of resolving the conflict. The ritual required a rare herb, one only found in a specific location high up in the mountains. Retrieving it would be incredibly dangerous. The blizzard raged outside, and the creature could attack at any moment. But it was our only chance. The stakes were impossibly high. We couldn't afford failure. Failure meant death. The ritual held the key, not only to ending the hunt, but also to resolving the deep-seated conflict that existed between us. As we ventured out into the blizzard, the situation escalated. The creature's presence became more palpable, its relentless pursuit more intense. Our attempt to perform the ritual wasn't just a physical challenge. It was a test of our survival, a challenge to our very existence. The impending storm was intensifying, and our hope was dwindling. We had to act quickly and decisively. The weight of the situation was palpable. We were not only fighting for our lives, but for a chance at redemption. The journey to retrieve the herb was a harrowing ordeal. The blizzard raged, reducing visibility to almost nothing. The biting wind, the driving snow, and the constant threat of the creature's attack pushed us to our absolute limits. Sarah, despite her earlier fear, displayed remarkable resilience, her determination fueled by a desperate hope for survival. Her newfound trust in my knowledge of the ancient legends proved invaluable. My understanding of the land and the creature's motivations guided us through the treacherous terrain. That we found the herb, a rare and precious plant, growing in a sheltered crevice amidst the raging storm. But the creature attacked as we were harvesting it. Its form was partially visible in the swirling snow, massive, powerful, and intensely focused on us. We barely escaped its claws, the close call solidifying the urgency and the stakes of our situation. The subsequent ritual was a tense undertaking. We performed the actions depicted in the petroglyphs, offering the herb as a symbolic gesture of peace and atonement, hoping to appease the creature's fury and restore the balance to the land. It was a gamble, a desperate attempt to resolve the conflict peacefully, a delicate attempt to navigate between two different worldviews, Sarah's rational scientific perspective and my knowledge of ancient beliefs. The immediate aftermath was quiet and tense. We waited, breathlessly anticipating the creature's reaction. The storm gradually subsided, and the sun broke through the clouds. It was a subtle, yet deeply profound moment. The creature's intentions remained unclear. We couldn't perceive any sign of its presence, neither could we confirm its absence. The tension, the uncertainty, remained, leaving us on edge and profoundly vulnerable. Sarah's reaction to the ritual's success was a mixture of relief and awe. She had witnessed firsthand the power of ancient wisdom, the connection between humans and the natural world, a connection that had previously eluded her. Her pragmatic skepticism had transformed into a profound respect for the knowledge passed down through generations. She understood now that this wasn't simply a matter of survival. It was about understanding and respecting the ancient forces that governed the land. My own response was one of solemn satisfaction. The ritual had worked, but it had also exacted a heavy toll. We were forever changed, deeply affected by what we had witnessed and the profound lessons we had learned. The experience broadened our understanding and reshaped our perception of the world around us. We had not only escaped death, but had also gained an unprecedented understanding of the forces at play in this remote region. Our perspective had been altered forever. The immediate aftermath of the ritual was a tense calm. The blizzard had subsided. The sun broke through the clouds, casting long shadows across the snow-covered landscape. But the tension remained. We couldn't see the creature, but we couldn't be sure it had gone. Its absence was as unsettling as its presence had been. Sarah, her initial fear replaced by a quiet awe, began to see the land with new eyes. Her scientific mind, once focused solely on observable facts, now acknowledged the power of the intangible, the influence of ancient energies and unseen forces. The ritual had not only saved our lives, but had also fundamentally shifted her worldview. She began to understand the deep connection between the land and its inhabitants, a connection that transcended her previous understanding of the natural world. My own understanding also deepened. The success of the ritual validated the ancient knowledge passed down through my people, solidifying my connection to my heritage. This connection provided an even stronger sense of responsibility for the land and its guardians. The experience reinforced the importance of respecting the environment and honoring the ancient wisdom that coexisted with modern knowledge. The journey back was still fraught with danger. The creature's absence was not a guarantee of safety. It was merely a reprieve. The lingering threat, the underlying unease, weighed heavily upon us. We remained alert, our senses heightened, our every step measured. The landscape, once familiar and comforting, was now filled with unspoken dangers. Our survival wasn't merely physical, it was also psychological. We had faced our deepest fears, confronted our own limitations, and witnessed the raw power of nature. The experience had forged a bond between Sarah and me, a mutual respect born from shared trauma and the recognition of a larger, more powerful reality that transcended our individual perspectives. We were different people now, forever changed by the events we had endured. That we learned a critical lesson: the importance of balance, the need to respect the delicate harmony between humanity and the natural world. Our initial actions, our intrusion into the creature's territory, had disrupted this balance. The ritual was not merely a means of survival, but also an act of reconciliation, a testament to the power of understanding and a step toward healing. Our growth was not just personal, it was a collective journey toward a new perspective. We had confronted a creature of legend, and in doing so, we had confronted our own limitations and prejudices. The events on Denali were far from over, but we had survived. and in surviving, we had transformed. The journey back to base camp was fraught with a different kind of tension. The immediate threat of the creature seemed to have subsided, replaced by a lingering unease, a sense of watchful waiting. The landscape, once familiar, now felt alien, each shadow harboring a potential threat. Every rustle of the wind, every snap of a twig, sent jolts of adrenaline through us. Sarah, despite her newfound respect for the ancient ways, remained grounded in her scientific approach. She meticulously documented our experiences, collecting samples and analyzing the effects of the ritual on the environment. Her scientific observations became a counterpoint to my ancestral knowledge, creating a fascinating interplay between science and spirituality that my understanding of the land deepened as we traveled. The subtle shifts in the environment, the behavior of the wildlife, all pointed towards a delicate balance being restored. The creature's attack had been a reaction, a desperate attempt to protect the land from an unseen threat. We started to consider what that threat might be and how it could be related to what we had uncovered in the cave, that we discovered subtle clues during our return journey, which eventually lead us to believe that the creature's attack wasn't random. The tracks, the disturbed earth, the patterns in the snow, all suggested a deliberate, purposeful route. They were leading somewhere. That somewhere held the key to understanding the bigger picture, to uncovering the root cause of the disruption in the natural order. That deeper understanding could lead us to a definitive resolution, or potentially to an even greater danger. Our destination was a remote research facility, hidden deep within the park. It had been abandoned years ago, rumored to have conducted controversial experiments related to the region's unique ecosystem. We started piecing together the puzzle, realizing that the creature's actions had been directed at the facility, not at us directly. The creature was trying to protect the land, not merely hunt us. We started to piece together the puzzle: the creature, the ritual, and the abandoned research facility. The pieces fell in a place to reveal a larger, more sinister threat. The facility's existence explained the creature's anger and its relentless pursuit. It wasn't simply protecting its territory. It was defending the land from a destructive force that was tampering with the natural order. The facility and the experiments conducted there were the root cause of the disruption, the true instigators of the conflict. Our survival and the creature's future now depended on uncovering the truth behind the facility and ending the destructive work that had taken place there. The abandoned research facility loomed before us, a skeletal structure of rusted metal and decaying wood, silhouetted against the stark Alaskan landscape. It was a monument to human arrogance, a testament to the destructive potential of unchecked scientific ambition. The air hung heavy with a sense of foreboding, a palpable feeling of wrongness. As we approached, we discovered signs of recent activity. Fresh tracks in the snow, disturbed earth, and faint traces of unnatural energy. The creature hadn't been hunting us. It had been protecting the land from something far more sinister, something that was still active. Inside the facility, we found evidence of disturbing experiments, genetic manipulation, unnatural energy sources, and horrific results. The creature's fury was not random. It was a targeted response to the facility's activities. The experiments had destabilized the land's delicate balance, triggering the creature's protective instinct. Suddenly, a terrifying sound shattered the silence. A guttural roar, far more powerful and terrifying than anything we had heard before. The creature was here, but it wasn't alone. From the depths of the facility emerged a horde of grotesque creations, the horrifying results of the facility's experiments, twisted parodies of life, genetic monstrosities fueled by unnatural energy. The climax wasn't a simple confrontation. It was a desperate battle for survival against a terrifying onslaught. The creature, enraged by the discovery of the facility's continued activity, fought with a terrifying ferocity, its protective instincts amplified by the threat to the land's balance. Sarah and I fought alongside the creature, our combined skills a desperate attempt to protect the land from this new threat. That we used our knowledge of the facility's layout to our advantage, turning its decaying structure into a deadly maze, using the creature's power and our combined knowledge to create chaos, trapping and eliminating the monstrous creations one by one. It was a brutal, chaotic fight, a testament to our will to survive. This was no longer a simple survival story. It was a war for the soul of the land itself. The facility's core, where the most disturbing experiments had been conducted, pulsed with unnatural energy. We realized that destroying the core was the only way to stop the threat, to restore the balance to the land. We had to risk everything, facing a terrible choice. This was a desperate gamble with potentially catastrophic consequences. The fate of the land, and perhaps even our own survival, rested on our ability to destroy the facility's core before it was too late. This wasn't just about us anymore. This was about the future of this ancient land and its delicate balance. The destruction of the facility's core was a desperate gamble, a final stand against the destructive force unleashed by human hubris. The creature, sensing our intent, focused its power, unleashing a wave of raw energy that shattered the facility's core, obliterating the source of the unnatural energy and silencing the monstrous creations forever. The aftermath was a scene of devastation and quiet awe. The facility lay in ruins, a testament to the catastrophic consequences of unchecked scientific ambition. The creature, its purpose fulfilled, retreated back into the wilderness, leaving behind a palpable sense of peace. The land seemed to sigh in relief, the tension that had hung heavy in the air dissipating like morning mist. Sarah and I emerged from the wreckage, exhausted but alive. We had survived the ordeal, but the experience had changed us fundamentally. We had witnessed the devastating consequences of humanity's disregard for nature's delicate balance. We had learned the true meaning of respect, the power of ancient wisdom, and the profound connection between humanity and the natural world. The report we submitted was explosive. The government's attempt to cover up the research facility's activities was exposed. The ensuing investigation led to far-reaching changes, not only in how the park was managed, but also in the way scientific research was conducted. Our experience served as a stark warning of the catastrophic consequences of unchecked ambition. The creature, though never fully understood, became a symbol of nature's power and its capacity for both destruction and protection. It was a guardian, a defender of the land, a force that should be respected, not exploited. The experience changed our understanding of the world around us. Sarah dedicated her life to environmental conservation, advocating for responsible scientific practices and the protection of wilderness areas. I returned to my community, my connection to the land, and its ancient stories deepened by the ordeal. We both carried the weight of our experience, a solemn reminder of the consequences of humanity's actions and the importance of respecting the delicate balance of nature. The land healed, and in a way, so did we. Years later, Denali National Park remains a place of awe and mystery. The research facility is a forgotten ruin, a stark reminder of human folly. Sarah continues her work, tirelessly advocating for the preservation of wilderness areas. I still patrol the park, but my approach has changed. I listen to the whispers of the wind, heed the warnings of the ancient stories, and recognize the deep connection between humanity and the natural world. The creature remains unseen, a silent guardian, a powerful symbol of nature's enduring strength and the importance of respecting its power. Years later, Denali National Park remains a place of awe and mystery. The research facility is a forgotten ruin, a stark reminder of human folly. Sarah continues her work, tirelessly advocating for the preservation of wilderness areas. I still patrol the park, but my approach has changed. I listen to the whispers of the wind, heed the warnings of the ancient stories, and recognize the deep connection between humanity and the natural world. The creature remains unseen, a silent guardian, a powerful symbol of nature's enduring strength and the importance of respecting its power. The events at Denali are a chilling reminder of the dangers of unchecked scientific ambition and the importance of respecting the delicate balance of nature. Share this story, spread awareness, and let's work together to protect our planet's precious wilderness areas. Click the link below to discover more stories of survival against the unknown. Explore the mysteries that lurk in the shadows, and dare to uncover the terrifying truths hidden in our world. What will you discover?